Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Sewing with Hannah, a sewing series all about creating a handmade wardrobe that fits you and sharing all my tips and tricks for sewing. So on this episode of Sewing with Hannah, we're going to be working on the Even Baste. It's called the Even Baste or the Baste. It's just the regular basting stitch that is used to hold fabric together temporarily, so you can try it on and test the fit before you stitch the permanent stitch. Now it's called even because it's even on both sides. The stitch length is the exact same, so there's no differentiation. Now what you're going to need for this is an 8x4 swatch piece of muslin. Now the reason I suggest this is we're going to be putting all of our hand stitches on this piece of fabric. So if you just want to do that, you can get an 8x4. If you not planning on keeping them all on the same one, you can just cut out a different size, just depending on how you want to learn, and just do it. Another thing you're going to need is a tailor's chalk and a ruler. I'd like to mark this at the straight line before you sew it, especially as you're first starting to learn to sew. It really helps keep an even and straight stitch. Another thing is thread. I'm using red thread just so you can better be able to see it. Just any type of thread. I suggest not using a white thread, especially if your fabric is, muslin or just any fabric. Any thread that matches the fabric, I would suggest not using in the beginning. Just using a bright color or even black, so you better be able to see on the fabric as you're stitching. Of course, you're gonna need your needle and your scissors. So what I like to do, I start by measuring out the fabric. Now I just kind of try and do a straight stitch and just mark it with the tailor's chalk. I like the blue tailor's chalk when I'm using lighter fabric, since it shows better. And then you grab your thread. Now the way you can measure your thread for putting, like, the amount of thread that you're going to need is just measuring it with your arm. So an arm's length, and then you just cut it at the end. Now what I like to do is when you're inserting the thread into the needle, I like to actually tie a knot. So what I do is I go like this and loop the yarn or thread into the hole, and I actually come out and I do it again. So I do it like 2 or 3 times, so it makes it kind of a tighter knot than if you just did it once and you just pull. Now when you're getting your thread, you don't want it to be too long. If it's too long, sometimes it actually knots, and so you end up having to cut it because it's getting all knotty and it's poking too many holes. So an arm's length is perfect amount. And then I come to the end of the thread and I tie a knot pretty much the same manner. You wrap the thread around your finger with the tail end this way. You pull it out and then push it through. Now as you're pulling, you go back again and go back in the circle and out. And you do that a couple times just so that you can have a knot. Sometimes when you tie it and close it and then try and tie it again, you end up getting knots in different areas. So this should just be perfect. So now we have our thread and we have our fabric. So going toward the edge of the fabric, not too close, you poke from behind, poke the needle through, and then you pull. So this is how you start it. Now when it comes to baste, because it doesn't have to be so close together and such a short stitch, I kind of like to use my thumb as a measure. I just kind of measure the thread around it, and then I pierce it through, come out, and then use my thumb to measure the space between the stitch's end and the next stitch. Go like that, come through. Come over, and you go down again. You see? Just keep on going. Now what I like about the base stitch, obviously besides the fact that it's just a temporary stitch, is also the fact that you don't have to be so precise. So if you're sitting in front of, you know, the TV and you're just having to baste things together, you can just easily do it without so much focus. It's not an exact science, since it's eventually going to be taken out. You just keep on going. Now, a trick I like to do to kind of speed up the process is to go, let me come up from this side. It's a little bit easier when you do it like this. You measure again and go through, and then come over again. And then measure again. Come through again. Now you just put in a few different stitches, and it saved you a little bit more time and a little bit quicker. So let me show you. Do you have your thread out onto the right side of the fabric? You pierce it through, go over, pierce it, go over again, and go over again. There you go. And you continue this to the end of the fabric. And what I like to do is I like to grab a very inky pen, and you just write what it is and put it at the bottom. And there you go. You have your even baste. Great job.